Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if we got some good audio.
No, we didn't get it. Oh, Papa, take you. Yes. That's Roblox, Daddy.
Yeah.
That's. Why
Stop.
are you typing?
Stop.
Why are you typing?
Miles, go over there. Go watch TV. Or I'm turning it off. Hello? Alright, cool. Alright, so I'm just gonna get started. So right now I'm on the Maximo site, and basically what I have up and running in Unity right now is that APR player. That's what it's called, the APR player. Let me see. Let me drag this over. So one thing I wanted to show you. So this is Unity 2020. You got to get updated if you haven't already, because they changed the way you import assets. So basically, right here on the left hand side of the screen, you have the package manager, and that's all the assets that you have available to you. You downloaded already. So they changed the way you do that in Unity. You don't go through the asset store anymore. You just download everything within Unity, and then you just import it. So like right now, I'm about to import these animals into the project. Before I get started, let me pull up this little. I got a little intro to Unity list that I set up. Let me see. Importing models, importing animations, Skybox. Okay, so I have that little list to work on. Yeah, because this is just gonna be just basics in Unity, so that really, you know, you could take everything from here and put it into any game that you're making, really. So, all right, let me wait for this to load in. The first thing I want to do is actually show you how to import animations and stuff from Maximo, the online tool. Just because it's going to be easy to, you know, prototype and everything like that. So, let me see. No, that's fine. It's probably because, let me see. Yeah, I'm looking at OBS right now, and everything looks good. So as long as I got a good recording, I'm fine. So let's go over here. Yeah, because the streaming side of things is a little choppy when I'm live, but the actual recording comes out good. So as long as you can see things clearly, you can see, you know, some basic stuff clearly. It's cool. All right, so let me re-download this. I don't know why she didn't download before. Jump back into Unity. But yeah, I want to show you basically how simple it is to grab free characters from this website and then import them into Unity and just really start prototyping. So we're gonna create like a little NPC character. I'm just gonna have her do a little dance or something. I'm gonna find a dance animation, link that to her, and show you how we do custom lighting and stuff. So once she's downloaded, we'll get started on that. I wanted to import these animals because they're already animated and they're low poly. So I just wanted to show you that process as well. So let me just wait for all this to load up. Jump back over here. All right, so she's downloaded. Now you know, all right, so I'll show you in a second here, but you know when you download, like that character right there, she's already textured and everything. So her, basically, she's a FBX file. So as you download her, it might come in as like black and white or something, like the textures are not going to show up. But once you have her in Unity, I'm going to show you how to like basically grab those textures from that character model. So from that file, from that character file. So let me go over here, and we're just gonna throw this into Unity once it's stopped. Once Unity is not doing it anymore. All right, so this is almost done. So all right, so the character's already downloaded. So once the character is downloaded, the character itself is about 27 megabytes. I just saw, which is decent for a main character, for, you know, full character. Now I'm going to click over to the animations tab, and then, you know, if you notice, you know, the character to the right hasn't changed. So basically, I can go over here and I can just, you know, click a simple animation, and we got our character already starting to move. So the cool thing about the Mixamo website is that let me get her a cool little dance going. So I'm just gonna type in dance over here, and if you notice, you have genres you can, you know, use. Like if I want to find combat animations, if I want to find adventure animations, I can find everything here. And the cool thing about the Mixamo site is that they literally have full animation for full character. So you can have, like, they have an archery animation kit where it's like that package that you can download and you know, get that set up with that character. So like right. Yeah, she is. It's a capoeira little animation. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Let me look at it. See if I can look at it on my phone. Let's see if I can look at the stream on my phone, because on OBS it's looking good. Let me see. Oh yeah, the stream's way behind. Okay, let me. All right, let me see if I can. Okay. Yeah, I wanted you to follow along. Um, da, 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 da. Yeah, let's just yeah, because it's jumping from. Let me close these web browsers. That might be a part of the problem. Because the OBS is jumping from 9 per second to about 21, 24. So if I can at least get it up to 24, we'll be good. Let's see. All right, give me 1 second. Also, the Mixamo site might be a little rough on the stream. That might be a part of the problem. Let's see. Cool beans. All right, so I'm just gonna do this little basic dance right here, and then get off of Mixamo because I think it's slowing down the stream. All right, so if you can still see the stream, basically when you download the animation over here on the right hand side, it gives you all these parameters for the animation. So like basically right here I just have it's just labeled silly dance, and on the right hand side, yeah, on the right hand side, like I can change her energy level, so I can make it, a really, energetic dance as opposed to something calm or whatever. And the same thing applies to all the animations. So you have animations that the character will just be walking, and the cool thing about it is, as a developer, I can literally change all the parameters before I even download the animation. That's why I love so much about the Mixamo site, is that they not only are you getting a lot of free animations and stuff, but it's customizable. You know what I mean? So it's really cool. So let me. I think Mixamo might be slowing everything down. So once this downloads, I'm just gonna get off the web browser. And no more cookies. Yeah. Let me see.
Die. Die. I don't want to touch that.
Okay, leave it alone. Alright, everything is downloaded. Alright, cool. Alright, so that's downloaded. Jumping back into Unity. This is still loading up.
I don't want to cut.
Okay, so go sit down, Miles. Alright, let me see. Alright, so I'm in OBS now, and I'm back at 24 frames a second, and it hasn't dipped below. Let me see. Check to see how the stream is when you get a chance. Drop frames, duration. Hold on, let me look up some settings real quick to see if I can possibly optimize this. I'd like to think that the internet is stronger than the YouTube playing in the background on the TV isn't bothering it. OBS settings for streaming. Man, these animals are taking forever. If I knew this would have took so long, I would have not imported these. It's cool. But basically, this little game right here. Well, what I wanted to do with it is create like a little monkey character, and basically he has to solve different physics-based puzzles and just escape from a zoo. Um, the idea that I told Sean is that just kind of out the gate, I want to just focus on two games, and 2D game and a 3D game, and just literally just have those as our main games, and then just build on top of that. So. Out the gate, we'll just have some simple stuff, and then from there, we'll be able to, focus on everything else that we got going on. But I want to just have, some real simple games out the door, on the shelves, so to speak. And from there, we'll focus on everything else, the bigger projects and stuff. Because, yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, this is taking forever. All right, I'm still waiting for Unity to finish up. Once that's done, we will get in there and start doing some basic stuff. Let me go back to my list to see everything I got. All right, so we got importing 3D models and animations from Mixamo, free asset store materials, Skybox material. Intro to basic lighting sources, creating your first prefab, intro to C#, we're not going to do that. Yeah, we're just going to go up to about 4 little subjects over here. I have a few more things I want to go over, but we can stream probably tomorrow or Friday, and then do some of the other stuff, but we'll do that in like a 2D platformer template, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then, really, I mean, we can do both. We can do one stream of the 2D platformer asset, and then one with that first-person shooter asset that I showed you. Let's go over some basic stuff. Okay, the cool thing is this little animal pack has a big-ass gorilla, so I wanted to use that anyway. So this is done. We'll jump in there. It's almost done. Alright, so it's good now. Alright, so jump. Alright, so jump on the stream. Let me know what you see. I'm just rotating the scene around right now. Okay. Let me jump on the stream myself to see how far behind it is. It's cool. Oh yeah, because I'm pretty far. Okay, the stream is good now. It's just far behind. So yeah, it's just far behind. So I'm gonna wait for a second to get caught up. What was that? That's cool. Yeah, I'm looking at it over here. Let's see. Yeah, I actually wanted to show you post-processing stuff and the Cinemachine stuff, but we'll just wait on that for now, and I'll just go over some real basic stuff. Let me see. All right, so the stream's caught up to almost where we're at now. Okay, all right. So right now, I'm just gonna play the game so you can see what we got going on so far. Actually, no. Before I do that, let me show you what's going on with the actual the Unity screen. So if you look at the main screen right here, on the left-hand side, you have the hierarchy. Basically, the hierarchy is everything in that scene. So everything in that particular scene right is going to be in this hierarchy, and you can kind of tuck things in and kind of put them in place as you see fit. So in this particular demo right here, I'm actually going to save. I'm going to go up here and go save as. And what I was telling you yesterday about saving the different scenes, you got to watch where you're saving it, because it's going to just save anywhere right now. I'm actually going to just create a new folder for I'm just going to create a new folder for just scenes. We'll just do test scenes, and then I'll save this new test scene. I'll save it as test scene 1, test 1. Yeah, just save it as test 1. That's a good way. Doing that right there is a good way to test different gameplay mechanics. So I can take this whole scene right here, add a few things, take away a few things, and just as long as it's a different scene, you got different things going on. So for this one right here, over to the left hand side, you have the hierarchy, like I was saying, and that's everything in the scene. So like right here on the hierarchy right now, we have the main camera, the canvas, we have a empty prefab called the scene, and if I hit the little drop down button on there and expand that out, you have everything in this scene. So you have everything from, you know, the lighting, the ground, the walls, and all that type of stuff right there. That's all in a little container. So the cool thing about Unity is that you can organize everything like that, so that it's a lot going on in the scene, but everything's kind of organized over here and tucked away the way it needs to be. So like the canvas is Unity's version of a UI. So a canvas, everything that you see on the canvas is going to be on your UI. It's going to be your inventory, your heads-up display, all that type of stuff is going to be on the canvas. And the reason the canvas is separate from everything else is because it needs to be on a different layer. So let's say we put some crazy camera effects on the actual game, but on the canvas we don't want any effects. You know what I mean? We just want some basic. Yeah, so it keeps everything separate that way. Let me see. So that's the hierarchy right there, and I'm gonna click on my player, and I want you to see what this player looks like. So before we start the game or anything, I want you to just see what this player looks like. So you got this little brown dude. He's actually be a little monkey. Character that has all the rigid body effects to him, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Active, what it means to be an active ragdoll, like the Human Fall Flat game, it is basically means that it's an active ragdoll, so it's actively gonna be affected by any physics in the game. So if he falls over, he's gonna crumple over like a real ragdoll. You know what I mean? So let me play the game real quick, just so you can see what the asset looks like so far. And then once I'm in game mode, that you can see a few things from there that'll be helpful. For this to load up. In game mode, basically anything that you do. Let me know when you see me actually playing the game. Basically, in the game mode, anything I edit in the game isn't gonna stay that way because we're in game mode. So if I go and I don't know, change the player to blue or something like that, it'll change. Like I'll do it real quick so you can see exactly what I mean. The character will actually change. It's just it won't save that way. So unless you do all this before you get into this play mode or game mode, it's not going to save. Actually, let me exit game mode quick so I can have another. Okay, so right there, you're just seeing how the characters put together and everything. You're just a little far behind. Eventually, you're gonna start seeing some gameplay in a second here. Let me. Like, right, right. Oh yeah, definitely. Um, mhm. So if you look at, let me see. All right, I'm gonna make it so that when we get into the game mode, it's not gonna go full screen, so I can do some editing while we're in game mode. Okay, cool. So you're a little far behind. As you can see, as I'm playing the game, what type of character we're talking about. Like I did a couple jumps and all that, and you can see how physics based it is because I walk to that box, and his arm is affected by that box. We can pick up the box and all that type of stuff. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm in. You're a little bit farther behind me right now, but you'll see it in a second here. I'm in game mode, and I'm actually going to edit a few things while the game's actually playing. So I'm going to go over here, and you'll see the game mode. When I switch to scene mode while the game's actually playing, you can see we can the character. I can push him around, all that type of stuff. Um, so right now, when you get here, it's actually going to be pretty funny because the character, for some reason, is just bent over, and I can just kind of grab boxes and stuff and interact with the character like that. Let me see, because the game's playing. All we're doing is interacting with a real time character. You know what I mean? So when you get to where I'm at now, you're gonna see me grabbing boxes and character with him and stuff, and the character's literally being physically affected by this stuff. So, like I said before, I can go here and you'll see on the screen, I go create material, and then I go to material. I'll just change it to a blue material real quick. So we now have a new blue material, and I'll just change the character blue for a second. So now we have a little blue dude, and we'll have him just jump down so you can kind of see the physics. Thing I did change with this character is I made his head a lot bigger to be a little bit more comical, and then I made what else did I do? Oh, I made it so it's you have it in the player settings, the player settings in a second here, but you have it in player settings to you have to jump to get back up when you fall down, or the character just automatically orientates himself. You know what I mean? So where what are you looking at now? All right, cool. So that's what I was talking about right there. Like on that right there, you're gonna see what I mean as far as just editing the game while you're in play mode. So right now, you're still farther behind. Just what you're seeing when if you have any questions or anything. But like now, I'm gonna do the same thing farther behind you, or I'm in front of you, but I'm gonna do the same thing again. So you now have the character inside of like a little what is that, like a little wagon or something, and I'm gonna go to scene mode, and I'm just gonna drag that wagon off this little ledge right here, so you can see like how interactive you can get within Unity as far as just playing around with the gameplay. So like we're just gonna take yeah. But you see right there, like that character is act everything. We're in the scene mode, we're in the game mode, but everything's fully active, everything's fully running. You know what I mean? So that's a great way to edit the game. That's a great way to just do different tests and stuff. One cool thing I like to do, and I'll show you that next. Let me just get the character on a one thing I like to do is to the actual character and change his attributes. So right now, I'm going back on the hierarchy mode, hierarchy screen, and I'm clicking HDR player, and I'm just gonna go over here to the right on the inspector side of the screen, and on the inspector it has everything that makes that character do what he does. It's on that side of the screen. So everything from, you know, the, like you were saying before, the rig and the weights and all that type of stuff, everything is in the character right here. So if I break down this little drop down, I click this in button, I have literally the weights of that character, I have the rig of that character and all that. So if I needed to edit anything or anything, just make him heavier, make him, you know, whatever, change something on his bones, anything like that, I can do all that within Unity. You know what I mean? So like right now, I just want to make him jump higher, and one way I can do that is going over here to the inspector side of the screen, and I'm just gonna look at let me see, step duration, step height, actions, punch force. All right, so let's see everything jump force. Okay, so I see jump, input, this player is on, jump force. Okay, so on the right hand of the screen, you'll see it in a little bit here, but on the right hand of the screen, under the inspector window, I have movement properties, and basically all the options I have for this character right here, and I can change how fast the character moves. Right now it's just at default settings right here, but I can change everything. So I can make him jump higher, I can make him move slower, I can make him turn faster. Like, you have the ability, and the same thing applies for a 2D platformer character, a first-person shooter character. The same thing is going to apply for any other asset like that. You're going to get you're going to have the ability to change all these attributes and really just fine-tune the game how you want to. You know what I mean? Right. Alright, so let me see. Alright, so I'm actually gonna exit out of this scene, jump to a different scene real quick. Before I do that, before I do that, let me just, I want to show you how to import a model. So this is a model. These are, I got some high quality barrels that I just got on the Unity Asset Store, and I want to show you how to add that to the scene and do it in a way where the character can interact with it. So I'm going to minimize everything on the hierarchy over here, and I'm going to import this barrel. So under the prefab, all right, so right now I just clicked on barrels and prefabs. These are, mind you, these are barrels that I found on the Unity Asset Store that I just downloaded, and that somebody had made, and, you know, I'm just downloading it like that. So looking at it real quick, it doesn't have any physics attached to it. So what I'm going to do is import it and show you what happens if we just import it without doing anything. So I just got it imported. Let me Alright, so we're going to scale this up, make it bigger. And one thing I want to do real quick on this scene is change that the color of the ground. I want to change that to like a dark gray. So check, did you see how I made that blue material? Okay, so basically to create a material, to create really anything in Unity, all you're doing is just going to empty space on the assets part where all the folders are, and you're just going to right click. When you right click, you have everything available that you're able to do right here. So if I go up to create, if you look at this screen right here, and mind you, I know you're behind me, I'm just talking to but if you go to the create screen right here, you have everything available to you that you can add into the game. So everything from, you know, your custom scripts to a 3D model or anything like that. So we're just gonna add. I was just gonna create a material. So we're just gonna create a material real quick. Go create and then go material. Basically, a material can be a texture or it could just be a color. So right now, I'm not importing any textures or anything. I just wanted to make some colors, and I'm gonna make this dude. Actually, let me change these boxes to. Let me see. Actually, I want to keep him that color, and then I want to change. Oh yeah, I want to change the ground. That's what it was. So I'm gonna go over here and just change that to gray, and just as when I create that material, all I have to do is just throw it on the model in the scene mode, and it's gonna change that color for us. So we're gonna do that. Change the color to everywhere, and yeah. So we got the ground like a boring gray right now. And what I want to do is add a skybox to this in a second here, so I'll do that next after we import this barrel and add some physics to it. So right now I got the barrel selected that we just grabbed, and mind you, this can be, I'm using a barrel just because it's textured and everything already, and I found it in the asset store and it looks pretty cool. But we can use this, the same principle we can use for anything, any object or anything. So basically we're adding this barrel and we're adding physics to it, so we're making it interactable and giving it some weight in the game. So with this barrel, I just go to the barrel and I'm right clicking it. Oh, excuse me, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna do a left click, I'm sorry, and then go to the right side of my screen, and we're gonna add component. So like that's a big part. Grab some paper and pencil real quick for me, because that's actually this is a big part of this. Stop. Go over there. All right. So right now I'm just gonna create physics from scratch. So I have a barrel, and you can do this with a sphere or a tube or anything like that, but I'm just going to use this barrel real quick, and I'm going to add a component. So on your notes, just put add component. Okay, so a component is, in Unity, a component can be literally anything from physics, adding weight to an object, or adding audio, adding a navigation point, adding a special effect or anything like that. A component is just, it's what it is. It's a component. You're adding something to a major prefab or a major item, and underneath, actually above component, put prefab for me. Write prefab. Nice. With that, sorry, we'll go over that probably tomorrow, or yeah, we'll go over that another time. But basically, to do a quick rundown on how you do something like that, you would need about 3 different components. So you have the character walking up to the building. You need to create a trigger. So it's it's the same concept of any video game you've played before. You go up to that area. What triggers that sound? What's going to trigger that sound in Unity is creating what's called a sound zone. So when that character enters the sound zone, he's going to create it's going to trigger that sound. And basically that's the old school way of doing it, but yeah, exactly. Right. No, that's exactly what it is. It's just triggering a sound. But the cool thing about Unity is that they upgraded the sound system, and now they have what's called a sound mixer. And so let's say we have a real ominous scene where you're outside of a church or something like that, and it's real spooky. You want to have basically in the mixer, you can have everything from the ambient noises from, fucking crickets in the background to, just like literally have different sound effects for different things, and you can layer everything in Unity with that mixer. That makes sense. Yeah. And then, obviously a big sound like music and background music would be considered primary sound or primary music. So, just in a nutshell, that's how you would do that. But let me jump back to this little barrel dude. This little dude knocking down this barrel. So, actually, let me play the game so you can see what happens before we add physics to this barrel. Um, Show you that. So the game's about to play, and what happens if we just walk into the barrel? We just walk right through it. So basically, like in any game that I can actually clip this and just use this as a quick little tip for the future. But basically, any game that you run into that you get a where you see clipping, all that is the developer just didn't add physics to that part of the game. You know what I mean? They didn't add, because anytime you add physics, you're increasing the amount of memory that game needs. You know what I mean? You're adding a script, you're adding weight to that object that I'm trying to explain it best. You're adding weight to that object that is really, it's not necessary for things that the player can't touch. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you're running into bugs in a game, like I'm trying to think of a recent game that happened to me with, like, I mean, even like duty games, when you get like stuck in geometry and stuff, that's all that is. It's just, you got certain parts of that level geometry that's overlapping, and it might not have the specific components on it that it needs. You know what I mean? So like right now, my character is just walking through this barrel. So let me get out of here and fix this. So what we would do is we would go back to the barrel, and we would go to add component, like I said before. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. I'm sorry. With the prefab. So under prefab, to define a prefab, basically a prefab is like what's the best way to explain it? A prefab is like a sandwich, man. Prefab is like a sandwich. It has everything. A sandwich that's completed with bread, cheese, mayo, mustard, all that stuff, the fixings. The prefab has everything in it. So basically, once I create this barrel and put physics on it and everything, I'll create a prefab of this barrel, which will be its own game object that I can add into the game that has the physics and everything. Like, I don't have to do it again. Once I do it once, it's done. The same. Yeah. So like yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then, really the same thing applies for, characters. The same thing applies for enemies and things like that. You create that dude once, and, you can create, let's say we have zombies in your game that you're making. You create one zombie. He's a green zombie that can run really fast. What you do is you duplicate that prefab that character prefab, so that you can have a red zombie that runs really slow. You know what I mean? You're not starting from scratch. You're not starting from scratch at all. All you're doing is just duplicating that. You're just duplicating that prefab and allowing yourself to just make small edits and do it like that. You know what I mean? So, all right. So right now I'm on the physics parts of the component screen, and on the physics part, you can see, let me go back over there. All right, so you have physics 2D and you have physics 3D. Obviously we're in 3D right now, so we're just going to focus on 3D physics, but 2D physics is what you're going to be dealing with if you have a 2D platformer game. You know what I mean? So with right now, we're just going to use some 3D physics, and you can do everything from cloth physics. You can do a box collider, a capsule collider, a mesh collider. You can create joints. You can create wind, all springs, wheels, like in a car game or something like that. So all that is in this little physics tab right here. But I'm gonna go up here to what did I just say? Capsule. So I'm gonna create a capsule collider for this. this should work. It might come out a little wonky. Actually, I'm sorry. Uh, let me just see how this looks. We'll see how this looks. So, we just created a capsule collider. Yeah, that's gonna look janky. That's not gonna look good. So let me delete that. So, let me just remove that. And basically, you can create a collider out of the what is it called? Geez, you can create a collider out of the actual model itself. So if I have let's say you have a pumpkin that you're adding into your game, you can create you can create a rigid body based off of that pumpkin right there. So that pumpkin model. So you don't have to make that's just the one way to have like real tight hitboxes and things like that. You're not using like primitive shapes. You're using the actual model for it. So, but for right here, one thing I added just now is I added a rigid body. A rigid body is basically, all right. So two things to write down real quick. So write down rigid body and write down collider. Yeah. So all right, yeah. So under Collider, you have lots of different you have lots of different colliders that you can choose from. So you have Mesh Collider, you have Sphere Collider. Like I was telling you before, and they all have their own purposes, based on whatever you're using them for. But like right now, we're just going to use a Mesh Collider, and we're going to use the actual mesh that the object we have here is based off of. So if you're looking at the screen, when I added that mesh collider, I clicked convex, and all it did, it added a green cage around my barrel. So basically, it created what's the word? It created constraints. So the character, when he hits the barrel to the point of contact, he's going to affect that barrel. If your collider is off, that's how you get games that have weird glitches and stuff, because the colliders are off. You know what I mean? And yeah. So we're just going to do that. One thing. Oh yeah, underneath. Yeah, we got to add that. Underneath collider, add physics material. So physics materials is really cool. That's one thing that you can use in Unity to create a different type of, what's the word, like a different type of, let's say for instance making a 2D platformer game, and you want to have the ability for a character to jump on something and bounce on it. The physics material is where that's going to come in place. So you can create something that like icy, where you're sliding on it. You can create something that's bouncy. You can create something that, when the character walks on it, he's just walking a little bit more slowly, like he's walking in like mud or something. You accomplish all that with the physics material. Right now, we're not gonna bother with that for right now. I just want to add a basic mesh collider and a basic rigid body. Really right now, so all right, so under rigid body, that's where you have basically you're adding weight to that object. So everything in your game is going to have a rigid body, every single thing. So basically the rigid body is going to be affected, it's going to show you how the character is affected by gravity. It's going to show you how the character is affected by the game world, the mass of the character, and the drag. So when you get into the weeds of rigid bodies and colliders and stuff, that's where that's honestly how you fine tune like racing games. That's how you fine tune really good spacecraft games and stuff like that. By affecting the gravity, the mass, and all that. So right now on this barrel, I have the rigid body, and then I have the collider, and I believe that's it. I'm getting something. Let's test it real quick and see what happens. Alright, so let's jump into the game, let's see what happens when we walk over to our barrel now. Alright, cool. It worked. So we get to our barrel and we just knock it off. And we're able to, it looks like this APR character, this APR asset is really cool because When I knock stuff off the game world, it respawns, which is pretty cool. Um, so right now, once you see me get into the game, actually, I want to see. All right, so once you see me actually playing the game, once you get caught up there, you'll see me be able to knock down the barrel, and really, you'll see, some basic, realistic. So I got the barrel rolling down this little steep, for whatever, and it rolls like a barrel should. So that works perfectly. So I'm gonna out of that, and let me know. Actually, I'll just log on to the stream real quick to see how far it is. Okay, okay, cool. But that's good because um, once you see that green, once you see that green, like what's the word, like da, 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 da. It's, yeah, yeah, there you go. That green wireframe around it. That's when you know it has weight to it. Really, I mean, just in layman's terms, it has weight to it because when I add something that is just it doesn't have any collider, it doesn't have any rigid body, like I was saying before, you can just walk through it. So that was that. Let me just save this scene so we can save our work right there. Um, Let me see. Oh yeah, I do have a little zombie dude I wanted to add to this. All right, so I got the zombie guy. Oh yeah, so let's do some. Let me import some animations next. So I'm gonna change scenes, and we're gonna go over to the. All right, we're gonna go to this little wrestling scene that they got for us set up, and I want to show you from here. Yeah, on this wrestling scene, I'm gonna start adding some animations and stuff. Let me know. All right, cool, 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 cool. So you're not too far. You're not too far away. So, but you see, yeah, that's how simple it is to just add, a basic object like a barrel to the game. Make it act and react like a real object. You know what I mean? So next up, I have this little what is it called? Like a wrestling rink or whatever, and I want to add some zombies in the stands. So I'm just gonna add one zombie for right now. I'll actually what I'll do is I'll import that character that was dancing, and then I'll import our little zombie dude and just show you how we can just do just some different animations on a 3D character. All right, so let's see. So we got the girl that we got imported, and all right. So from here, all right. So basically, all right. So you were talking about rigs and stuff when you were learning how to rig and paint weights and all that type of stuff. The cool thing about the Maximo site is that it has the auto rig. It has the auto rig thing tool where you can upload a character and it'll rig for you. So it'll rig that character. It'll create bones. It'll create weights and all that. Have you checked that out before? Okay, let me pull that up real quick so you can actually. I don't want to do that on the stream. It's gonna chug on me. Yeah. Yeah. Last night. Yeah. Yeah. But I sent you the whole file, the whole asset, so you can download it and play with it and all that. Yeah, that was the one that we were talking about yesterday, where the player, yeah, it was like a third person shooter, and he can kind of switch between camera modes, and he can jump into cars and all that stuff. So that'll be the one that I have up and running tomorrow. And yeah, we'll work on that one tomorrow. But I just wanted to go over some basic stuff with this. Actually, yeah, with this one, I want to affect some lighting on the scene. So let me see. Let me see. All right, so we're in this little wrestling arena. Let me know when you get to the wrestling arena. Okay, cool. So we got the little wrestling arena. arena, and if you look at around that arena, everything is interactable. So let me just go to play mode and show you, what this is about. And mind you, this is a $15 asset that I got over the weekend. That it was on sale, and I looked at it, and it's just like, you know what, there's a lot of value in this. Let me just grab it, and if release a pretty basic game with it. So, all right, we got our little blue dude right here. I'm gonna have him jump out the ring in a second here. This thing's chugging. All right, let me do this then. Sorry, let me go backwards. Why are you going so slow? All right, so on the wrestling ring, I'm gonna delete these other characters. I don't need 4 characters right now. I just want to have the little blue dude and show you how interactable this little level is. So you can see, but it is set up like right now. It's set up to play 4 players. So if we had other other controllers set up and all that, we can do that. And yeah, let me. All right. So one thing, once you get to where I'm at right here, you'll see. So you're gonna start seeing these characters disappear on the screen in a second here, and I'm gonna show you how. So this is actually a pretty cool little way to do tests and things like that. So like right now, I only want one character in this scene. So actually just one main character. So I go over here and I click the character in the hierarchy. Remember, the hierarchy is just everything in the scene. This scene currently. So this scene right here has a lot of stuff in the hierarchy because it's a lot more complicated than the other scene that we just had. You know what I mean? So basically, when you save a scene, you're not really saving anything on the bottom of the screen. You're saving everything in that hierarchy, and all your settings and everything in the hierarchy, you're saving that. If that makes sense. So yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it's gonna chug for a second there. I didn't realize that it was gonna chug like that, so just give it a second. But yeah, so like right now, where I'm at now is I'm clicking the characters that I don't want in the game, and I'm just gonna what's it called? I'm just gonna deselect them. So let's say I just want to do a test real quick with one character, and I don't want to really delete the characters. I don't want to delete where they are in the game or anything. I just wanna run a test. So all I would do is go to the inspector and unclick what I don't want in the game, and that applies for a character, that applies for lights or whatever. I can just unclick it and it'll gray that out in the hierarchy, but that player or that character or that model or whatever, it won't change position, so I can easily add it back if I want to. So but right now I'm just gonna unclick these dudes because it's slowing me down. Another thing I'm gonna do is change the lighting. So I have this light up here, and it has like this light blue color to it. So what I want to do is do a little quick tutorial on spotlights. So I'm gonna change the ground of the base of the ring to a gray so that we can get a better look of the lighting. So I'm gonna change that, and it has like this little emblem. And I'll delete that. I don't need that. All right, so we're just gonna add some spotlights to the character right now. So since we have this little blue dude over here, I want to add a spotlight. So what I can do is,
oh my God, he was sitting here eating this.
There's nothing in there. All right, so I'm just gonna add a spotlight. So if you look at the screen, once you get to where I'm at, on the right hand side of the screen, I have a lot of options for the lights. So basically we can, all right, so in most games, like in most games on PC or something, you have the options to edit the settings of the shadows. Like that's always gonna be, and really right here on the lighting side of things, that's gonna affect the game a lot as far as the quality and as far as how good it runs and things like that. So did you learn anything about baked lighting? versus real-time lighting. Gotcha. I gotcha. All right. So, let's say let's think of. All right. So in a 2D platformer, you can basically bake lighting because everything's not as interactable as a game like Call of Duty or something. Call of Duty, you're using real-time lighting. So that character that's running, he's creating shadows when he's running. So that's not baked. You know what I mean? It's a real-time shadow. So, but with that said, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll write that. All right. So write down real-time shadows. Actually, I'm sorry. Write down lighting, and then underneath that, I'm gonna have you write a few things. So write down lighting, and then underneath that, put what did I just say? Oh, put baked lighting, and then put real-time lighting.
Do you need this light on?
Yeah. So basically, real time is going to be more intensive on the CPU. You're asking a lot from that game to basically render real time lighting anytime the player moves, anytime anything's being interacted in that game. You are you're literally, you know, you're interacting with that light and you're creating a real time effect. So if you look at the spotlight that I'm creating over here, let me see. I'm gonna bring this light down, rotate it so it's an actual spotlight on this dude. And right now I'm just gonna create a blue light on top of this guy. And basically real time indirect bounce. Alright, so under the lighting tab, one thing you have as well are, when you create a light, one thing that you can do as well is make it so that that light doesn't create shadows, and you can make it so that it creates either hard shadows or soft shadows. So hard shadows are going to be the most realistic shadows that you can do, but they're going to be the most intensive on the game. So really, in most games, you're gonna have a mixture of things, like buildings and stuff. For the most part, like a building in most Call of Duty games are gonna be baked lighting because the building's not moving. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not moving. But a character, for the most part, is gonna either have hard or soft shadows because that character's moving through the game world, and you want to have, you know, a realistic character walking around and moving and all that. That, you know, actually creates a shadow. Yes, exactly. But if you have, let's say, I don't know, let's say you have like a cool weapon or something, you want to create, you know, a good hard shadow on that to, you know, give it a realistic look. But with that said, just next time when you're playing, you know, playing different games, just pay attention to some of this stuff, and you'll notice like little tricks that they use to make it so that the game runs faster. So if you ever see like shadows that are really pixelated, that's what that is. They're taking that shadow and making it a soft shadow, and kind of adding different effects to it so that hold on, 'cause I think I have the slider here. Is it a bias that you're adding to it? Hold on. Yeah, I can't remember the actual term for it, but basically, when you see like a pixelated shadow, that's what they're doing. They're trying to create something that that is less labor intensive on the game, or excuse me, on the computer that the game's running on. So, all right, so I'm back in play mode. All right, much better. He's a lot more smoother now, and if you see the game now, it's a little darker. So this guy, he doesn't have the automatic up. When he falls, he just like lays there for a second, which is pretty funny. I gotta set him up for the Xbox controller. Let me make this screen bigger so you can. So I want to walk this level before we add lighting to it and show you how you can interact with some of this stuff. So right now I got my little blue dude. He's walking. He can knock over this little gate right here. He's jumping. He can knock over these chairs over here. I'm just knocking over stuff in the game. And really, like, this demo is like, you can punch. No, you can just punch. You can punch with left hand, right hand, based off of the left and the right mouse click, and you can pick stuff up. Hold on, let me see if I can pick something up real quick. They have it so that if I push up and down on the mouse, the character like lifts his head up and down. So if you see me like walking around, what's that dude, the dead guy that the movie about the dead guy that you're walking around with? Was it Weekend at Bernie's? Yeah, so that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with this dude, because like I forget that I'm able to control his head. So he's like walking around like in that first demo with the brown dude, he was just bent over, and I'm like, why the fuck is he bent over? And I forget that, yeah, the mouse is controlling him looking up and down. So that's what that is. um, but yeah, like right now I'm in the crowd. Let me see if I can pick up this chair real quick. All right, let me exit out of there and do some lighting and stuff real quick. Are you seeing that blue dude walk around in the unlit room yet? Cool. All right, cool. Yeah, this I gotta fine tune the controls in here, because they have a lot of different like variables and stuff like that. Because I'm looking at it here and it's telling me I can change the move direction, I can change the step direction, I can make it so that it's up automatically and all that type of stuff. Um, cool. Yeah, but like you can see right there that kind of goes back to the physics and all that I was talking about before. Yeah. So if you look at that character, like he's everything, every part of that character has physics built into him. So he's, when you're fighting other characters or getting hit with blocks and stuff like that, that's the point of the active ragdoll. It's physics based. It's gonna react to everything. Let me go back over here. I want to add some lights. So let me add. Okay. Actually, I'm just gonna delete this light and make one from scratch. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go back over here to the hierarchy, and I'm just gonna create a light, and we're gonna create a spotlight, and we're just gonna put it on the character. And really, actually, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do something fun. So, let me see. We're gonna add this light onto the character, and I'm gonna attach it to the character so that wherever that character goes, he has light following him. So, let me make it so that you can actually see the light. In the lighting section, go ahead. Were you gonna say something? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty cool because I don't really know how that's gonna translate to the controller and all that. So that's gonna be a fun little experiment. All right, let me see. We got this. Right. Yeah, that'd be cool actually. All right, so we got this blue light on the character. I want to make it really intense. Okay, so once you get to me actually changing the lighting, you're gonna see some like really extreme stuff, and that's on purpose. I just want you to see, how crazy you can go with the lighting. Um, we'll keep it. Let's see. And mind you, once we're gonna go over lighting and stuff too. Once we get into the first person asset, because I'm gonna shut off all the lights in that asset and show you, how we can make a good how do you say I can't say that word. I'm fucking up right now. But how to create a good atmosphere with the lighting and all that just from scratch. So, um, yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're All right, so I just created a light. It's called Spotlight. I'm gonna change the name to Character Spotlight. Character Spotlight. And what I'm doing on the hierarchy is what I'm gonna do is just grab my light and I'm just gonna drag it and put it on top of the character. So now when I look at the character and I collapse that character's, everything inside that character, we have the light inside of it. So now I'm going to play the game again, make sure that light is following the character. Got the lighting yet? Cool. That didn't work. What's going on? Alright, let me change this. Character Spotlight, maybe we gotta change it and add it to there. Let's see if this works. Alright, so like right now I'm just adding that spotlight to the character. That didn't work either. I might need to change that, might need to save this as a prefab. Let's see if that helps. Alright, so basically alright, so I made a few changes to this character. And I wanna update the prefab. So the prefab is the packaged character. Like I was saying, it's like the finished sandwich. That is that character. So let me find the actual prefab in the assets folder. APR character, and we got APR player. All right, so we got the APR player right there. I'm just gonna drag. I'm gonna drag the prefab in the hierarchy that I've been editing, and I'm just gonna throw it over here on top of this character. And it looked like that worked. So let's play it now to see if that light is following him still. Yeah, I think that worked. Let's see. Not following him. I don't know why. All right, that's fine. I'll fix that in a second. But what I'll do here is just show you an example of how we can add different like lighting zones for this little scene. And let me take that. Actually, I think I know what happened. Let's see. Alright, so we're going to duplicate that spotlight. And what we're going to do... Let me see. Oop, got lost in this. Well, when I added the... yeah, that's a good point. But that's a good point, and I think that that's a part of it. But let me. All right, so like basically, if you look in the hierarchy, I just made that character. Excuse me, I made that light a child of the player prefab. So I did that, but it's not. It didn't work because I believe that I have to change the tag and I have to change the layer. So like basically. In Unity, it's similar to Photoshop where you can have different layers. So you can have a GUI layer, a HUD layer, like I was talking about earlier. You can have a special effects layer, you can have a player layer, you can have a AI layer, and literally you can make different attributes for each of those layers. So I think that's why the lighting isn't doing that. I don't want to get stuck on that too much, so I'm just going to switch. I'm going to duplicate that light and add a different light. So I'm going to add a red light over here. I'm going to duplicate that light, add a green light over here. And the cool thing about Unity is that like you can experiment so much with this. So you know, I have red, green, blue lights over here, and you know, it's a real program because you know I put these lights together and they'll be able to interact and change colors and things like that. I'm gonna keep it pretty simple right now and just have it so the player can walk underneath these lights and just change colors. So what I'll do is, what I want to do is change the player's color so that I'll make him white or gray so that he's affected by the light a little bit more. Just for now. No, I don't want to get that right now. All right, so we're just gonna change him to a white color. All right, so I'm gonna walk around real quick with him, make sure he's good. You can go ahead if you got something. All right, cool. Yeah, that worked actually really cool. He spawns in the blue light, but when he walks, I can walk over to this red light. He's in the red light area, and I'm gonna make these light zones a lot bigger so the effect is a lot cooler. So let's. One thing that I can do on the spotlight is actually change the spot angle. So changing that spot angle, I'm literally making that light wider. You'll see that in a second on the stream here. So I'm just gonna make these lights wider. And I'm gonna make it so that when he spawns, he doesn't spawn. Actually, no, yeah, this is really cool. This is really cool. So you'll see in a second here, when the light overlaps with the other light, it's gonna act like it's paint. So when red overlaps on blue, you got a little purple light there. When red overlaps on green, you got like a yellow effect going on in there. Alright, so we got cool lighting and stuff going on here. I'm going to change where the player spawns so that he spawns in a neutral. Oh man, I messed up. Yeah, I made all these lights a child of the player, so I can't do it. It's cool. So he's just going to spawn the blue light, and then as he walks around, he can yeah, this is actually a pretty cool little demo. But as he walks around, he's literally the light. Actually, I'm gonna change the camera now. So that's gonna be the next thing that we work on real quick. I want to go to about 11 o'clock. So we'll do a few more things, and then yeah, I'll have some stuff for us to do tomorrow too. Will you be able to get on tomorrow? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. hmm That's cool. All right, so where are you on the stream? Do you see the three lights? Cool, cool. Um, I can't remember exactly where you're at, but that's cool. All right. Yeah, perfect, perfect. So, I mean, that right there is just showing you some basic real-time lighting, how the character is going to interact with it and all that. And, if you extrapolate that to a horror game, it's the same type of concept. You know what I mean? You can use the lighting in Unity is so powerful. It's really extremely powerful. So, it's a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. What was I watching? I was watching something that showed Splinter Cell, and it was just like a real like throwback to that time. Because I was like you said, that was one of those. That was like the first like real immersive like you know sneak around type games. Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so let me see. I'm on the lighting. What did I say I'm about to do? Oh, okay, so I'm on the camera. Yeah, I wanted to change the camera real quick. Okay, so the camera. Write another little note for camera. All right, so camera, it can get real intense as far as the camera goes because like I was telling you yesterday, you can create a Cinemachine camera. So like right now the camera I have is just a basic default Unity camera. It's pretty powerful out the box, but for the most part, it's not going to be as powerful as the Cinemachine character Cinemachine camera that's able to like do some real Hollywood stuff. So the Cinemachine camera, that actually, yeah, I'm gonna write that down. That's gonna be something that we do tomorrow because the Cinemachine stuff is really, really, really cool, man. That stuff like you can create a dolly system so that like you create like a whole like track for the camera, so that yeah, 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 it's really cool. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah. Nobody really. I don't think anybody really uses a basic Unity camera anymore. Just it just doesn't make any sense because even if you don't want all the bells and whistles on the Cinemachine camera, you can just use basic Cinemachine camera and do that like that. So, um, yeah, I'll have the camera. I'll have all those cameras imported into Unity tomorrow so that we can go over some of the basic camera stuff. But they got some really cool stuff in there for that. Like you can get like a handheld effect for your camera. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with the cameras. Yeah, add camera shake and all that, like all that cool stuff. But for this one, let me see. So for this one right here, I just want to change the field of view. I want to zoom it in so you see the player a lot better, a lot clearer. I'm going to zoom it in all the way to 31. Go back to the game, click maximize on play, and play the game so we see a zoomed in character and not somebody real far away. Alright, so yeah, much better. Much better. Way better. Yeah, the camera change affected a lot, and that honestly, all right. So with the new camera change, you can see the how the lighting is blending into itself a little bit better. So the new camera change is way better. All right, cool. All right, so you'll see that in a second here. So we got the new camera. Let me go to my list. Oh, animation. So, all right. So the last thing we'll do is we'll throw I'll throw the zombie in there for you. So we'll throw the zombie in there, and we'll have him do a little dance since we downloaded that dance from the asset store. So right now I got a zombie that I got from the asset store, and we're just gonna drag him. We're just gonna drag him, drop him into the green part of the screen, make him bigger. Alrighty. Okay, cool. Got a little zombie dude, and let me see. I'm not gonna go too much into the animation right now. I'm just gonna set it up real quick just so it works. But actually, no, I can go over it real quick. So, on another little line, just write animation, and this is going to be another component. So, like I was saying before, you can add components to anything. So you can add components to characters, you can add components to basic 3D models and all that type of stuff. And right now, we're about to add a animation controller. We need to create an animation controller. So I'm gonna right click, create animation controller. Where we at? Yeah, animation controller, and we're just gonna name this zombie dance. So basically, animation controller is self-explanatory. That's the actual controller of how that controls all the animations in that character. So for tomorrow, you'll see a fully fledged 3D character that's in a video game, that's in the shooting game, and you'll see like a real a fully set up character controller with the animation controls and all that. Right now, I'm just gonna do a really basic one. So eventually, you're gonna see on my screen, it's called the animator screen, and from here, we're just gonna throw in animations. So I'm gonna go, actually I don't think I imported the animation yet. So let me go over here. We got silly dancing. We're gonna import that. And the cool thing about the Mixamo site is that, we have silly animation attached to that girl character that we downloaded. That animation that animation's set up for humanoids. So basically, you can take that animation and use it for anything that has a humanoid rig to it. So I'm gonna grab this animation right here, and I'm just gonna throw it over here onto our zombie, a zombie controller, and I'm gonna make this transition so that basically the animation's just gonna loop for us. Alright, so I got this looping. I want to make sure that it's mirrored so that it just keeps looping. And I'm gonna go back to our zombie. He has, alright, so basically on the zombie right now, we have to make sure he has an avatar. The avatar is basically that rig for that character. Each character in your game, whether it's an NPC or a player character, is gonna have a what's the word? Oh, he's gonna have an avatar. So this avatar is just zombie anime avatar, and it's fit for that character right here. Do you see the zombie yet? Okay, cool, cool. All right, so we're just gonna add the animations that we just made to that character. So we're gonna go to the controller. Oh, the controller. I'm sorry. We're gonna change that controller to that character. So we're gonna put the zombie dance on, and we're just gonna play it because I'm not sure. Let me see if it works or not when we play it. Might have to change a setting or so. Alright, so the character is not dancing yet. Let's change a few things.